How do we build the motivation when we're just starting out? How do you get to the point where the gym is just something that you do?
If you have to ask how to get motivated to go to the gym, you don't need to be going to the gym. You don't want it enough.
Well, good morning. Welcome back. Good to see you again. I'm glad you're here. It is arm day. We're going to be hitting arms and we're going to be talking about something. We're going to be talking about motivation. What motivates us? How do we get into the gym every day or nearly every day? And what is it that we can do to increase that motivation when we're struggling? I received a comment the other day from a viewer who was asking, how do you get yourself into the gym every day? How do you get yourself there, push yourself there, and ensure that you're going there every single day? And as I've told you all before, it's not about getting there every day because our body needs rest. We need rest, we need recovery, we need time off from this too. But I think this viewer asks a very important question. How do we build the motivation when we're just starting out? How do you get to the point where the gym is just something that you do? That's where we're ultimately trying to get to. I think a lot of people look at individuals like myself who go to the gym every single day as somebody who makes a conscious decision, a choice to get in there, go to the gym, pack the bag, take the pre-workout, eat the food, do the sleep. But really, what it comes down to is that over time, this is just what we have to do. We have to do this. We have to do this for our own mental sanity, for our own well-being, physically and mentally. Additionally, it's going to benefit us in those areas, but it's also going to benefit all the people around us that we interact with too. That's not to say that not going to the gym is an excuse to walk around being a butthead to every single person that you interact with, treating people poorly. However, going to the gym, exercising, whatever that form is for you to get in that exercise, it brings our mind and our bodies to a centering place that is comfortable, that is happy, and that is something that no matter what is going on in our day-to-day life, we can use as a centering exercise to find that comfort that we know. No matter how turbulent everything in our daily life gets, we can always come back here to the gym, grab that barbell, lift that weight, and we can begin to re-find a piece of ourselves that may have been lost for a moment, a day, a week, a month, perhaps even a year, and regain that feeling that is so consistent every single time we come in here. That can happen. You can get to that place where the gym feels that much like home to you. No matter where you are in the world, no matter how your days have been, you can attain that connection with the gym. But it takes time. So how do we get there before we're there? How do we get to the gym before we're at a place where it really is home for us, no matter where we are? You gotta have a goal. You've got to have a goal. You've got to have a reason to be in here, and a real one. I've seen so many times people are afraid to set a goal because they're afraid of failing. Why? Failing what? This is something we do for fun. This is something we do extracurricular. It is a hobby. The majority of us are not going out and making a career out of this. And if you're trying to make a career out of this and you're asking that question, well, you're in it for all the wrong reasons, I think. But for those of us who this is our hobby, this is something we do extracurricular to fulfill ourselves, set a goal. And who cares if you fail? That's what life is about. Life is about failing, making mistakes, learning from them, and growing from them. It's okay to fail. It's absolutely okay. You've got to do it. You have to. But with health and fitness, it's so easy to overextend ourselves. It's so easy to create a goal that is far and beyond what we're actually capable of, what we can actually attain in a realistic time frame. SMART goals are so popular because it gives us a framework to achieve something in a realistic time frame. It gives us the ability to articulate out a goal that has a bite-sized chunk of perhaps a larger goal. We can have these grand goals, these long-term goals, bigger vision goals, bigger fish that we're trying to fry. But we've got to also dice it up into smaller bite-sized chunks, have those smaller dishes along the way, those smaller wins along the way that are going to allow us to feel that sense of accomplishment. So we can't go into it saying, I'm going to start exercising 5 days a week and change my diet and lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks. we're going to end up disappointing ourselves. That's just way too much to bite off at once for somebody who perhaps hasn't done any exercise up till now. But maybe you're in the middle. Maybe you're like, I've been going for a little while. I've been going to the gym on and off, and I kind of like doing this stuff. And maybe this stuff is powerlifting, or maybe it's bodybuilding, or maybe it's CrossFit, or maybe it's gymnastics, or Pilates, or yoga, whatever it might actually be. It doesn't really matter. You got to ask yourself, how do you push yourself a little bit further in that endeavor? Is it lifting a certain amount of weight? Is it getting your biceps or triceps to a certain size? Is it being able to bend in a certain way and hit a certain pose? You've got to set those little goals for yourself so that you can continue to achieve and achieve and achieve. Doing that will get you to the place where the gym becomes a home of comfort, because what you'll find is that even if you fail, even if you mess up, the gym is forgiving. You can continue to try and gain experience and grow physically and mentally until you hit that goal. The gym is a place that will always allow you to hit your goals as long as you're setting realistic expectations for yourself and you're putting in the time and the effort and the energy. Maybe you've been going for a while and you're no longer progressing. Are you lifting enough weight? Are you eating enough food? Are you pushing yourself? Are you actually striving for that RPE 10 most of the workouts to actually get your muscles to the point of failure, so much so that they can grow, that they have the stimulus to grow? Are you cutting back on the calories enough? Is your cardio high enough? Are you stretching enough? These are all questions you have to ask yourself. It's not always about adding just more time either. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about actually pushing your body so much that it can actually continue to push past the stimulus that you're giving it, and not just adapt to it, but push past it and move that bar further and further along. Grow that muscle so that it continues to get stronger while doing perhaps the same workouts for an extended period of time. And again, once you've done that long enough, once you've seen that success time and time and time again, and you see how your body responds and adapts, and you get that surge in your body, the dopamine hit that comes from going in there and accomplishing, well, brother, you're on your way to really having a home here in the gym and knowing that this can be a place of comfort. That dopamine will rush. That adrenaline will be at an all-time high. And you can have that every single time you work out. No matter where you go, you can have those moments of uncertainty, but walk in there and grab that barbell and truly know that this is a place of comfort for you, a place that you can be safe, that you can be happy, and that you can feel fulfilled by the time you leave there. It's a universal language for anybody who wants to seek it out and learn it. But there's gonna be those days. There's gonna be those days we have to drag ourselves in here. I don't go every day. I can't. But even still, there are days when I just don't want to get out there. And unfortunately, sometimes my mind wins that battle for the moment. But what I've learned over time is that if I don't go, my mind and my body are gonna rebel. It's a trick, you see. It's a trick of the mind to make you believe that you don't actually need or want that for the day, for the moment, for the hour. Over time, you'll learn that your body ends up needing that, and you become an addict. Like somebody addicted to heroin, your body needs that workout, that stimulus, that exercise to be able to function properly, to be able to feel good about yourself. And if you don't go, you're gonna end up feeling disappointed. You're gonna end up feeling lesser, disjointed, rough around the edges, like you can't think clearly or with the kind of focus that you need to accomplish your day-to-day tasks. That is ultimately what happens once you develop a really good habit and a really good sense of motivation. It truly does become a habit, an addicted habit. You can't shake it, but it takes time to get there. For me, it developed when I was traveling for work after college for 2 years, and I felt like I never had a home anywhere I went. I couldn't really even have a routine of any kind, and as somebody who thrives on routine, I needed it. The gym very quickly became the routine I needed every day, no matter where I was, to feel fulfilled. My schedule was all over the place. I was literally traveling in a car all over the country for 2 straight years. And it was an amazing experience. It was perhaps the best experience of my life to get me to where I am now. But it was impossibly hard in that the routine was almost never the same every day. I needed something to be a staple everywhere I went. And so the gym became that. It became so much of a staple so quickly for me that I actually began to formulate where I traveled and where I stayed based on the gyms in the area. I would quite literally look up the gyms in the town or the city I needed to be in and figure out which one I wanted to be closest to so I could ensure I could always get there no matter what. That was a barrier I removed for myself. And you too need to find the reasons, but also remove the barriers. Find the gym, whether it's the cheapest one because it's what you can afford, or the closest one because it's really what matters the most to you. You've got to find and remove those barriers, get to that gym, and slowly but surely build that addiction. Dr. Mike Israetel talks recently actually on a podcast where he's asked the exact same question. How do you motivate yourself? And I've thought about it a lot the last couple months, what he said. On one hand, it's in the vein of this, David Goggins stuff that I think can be pretty cringe sometimes, if I'm being completely honest. But also there are these words that are spoken that are so true sometimes from men, even like David Goggins, who may be a little bit hyperbolic at times for my taste. That's just my opinion though. I do think David Goggins is a great guy who's very motivating, and his words have impacted many people, including myself. But Dr. Mike says to the question, you just don't want it bad enough. I'm going to play that clip here for you so you can hear it from the man himself.
If you have to ask how to get motivated to go to the gym, you don't need to be going to the gym. You don't want it enough. When you're sick and tired of looking and feeling like shit, you'll show up, motherfucker. I'll see you there. Because you're going to look in the mirror and you're going to be like, fuck that. You're going to want to be in the gym. The people that have no problem showing up to the gym are the people that want to be there.
Now, like I said about David Goggins, perhaps Dr. Mike's being a little bit hyperbolic here too. Perhaps he's being a little cringy in what he says. I think that might resonate with some people though. It resonated with me. I went to the gym, as I told you, out of a need for consistency. But up to that point, I had been searching for a way to figure out who I was because I wasn't happy with who I was. And in a vain attempt, quite literally, I wanted to feel better about myself and who I was. I wanted to like who I saw in the mirror, something I had never been able to do my entire life, and something to this day that I still struggle with on a daily basis. I don't see myself as a big, jacked guy who's stronger than most of the people that he encounters on any given day. I joke with coworkers, peers, and clients all the time, still to this day, and say things like, I train because I just want to be the biggest guy in any room I walk into. And I think I've hit that goal. I really do. I think, as funny as it might be, it's still something I hold near and dear to my heart, though. I want to be the strongest guy. Now, I have a kid. Now I want to make sure that I'm the strongest dad around anywhere we go. Does that make me silly? Does that make me ridiculous? Probably a little bit. Am I totally serious? No. But there is that little part in the back of my head that is serious about that too. There's that young kid inside of me still, who still doesn't like who he is, what he looks like, and I'm still fighting that demon every single day. Because again, I don't look in that mirror every day feeling comfortable, feeling okay with who I am. It's a battle. It's a battle every single day. And so to Dr. Mike's point, perhaps for some of us, we just don't hate ourselves enough. We just don't hate that thing about ourselves that we're trying to control, to change. And I don't think it's actually that unhealthy. I think it can be a positive thing to want to change, but it's a slippery slope. There are plenty of people out there who can take it far too extreme. We've all known people who have lost way too much weight, put on way too much weight. There are extremes to this, and it has to be a balance that we maintain. Our friends can help us do that. Training partners, peers, people can help us do those things and balance it all out. And they can also help pick us up when we're having that day where you're feeling down, feeling sad about yourself, like you don't want to go. And they can then serve as that reminder of why you're going. You told me you were going to go. You said you were going to hit this goal, that you were going to work out 3 times a week, that you were going to lose 10 pounds, that you were going to add 20 pounds to your bench, that you were going to run faster, do more, be more. They can remind us of those moments when we need it most, because we cannot, as I've said many times, do this alone. We can't. It takes a community in everything we do. You cannot be the lone wolf all the time. So here's what I'll leave you with. Motivation will come and go, but your determination to get there, to hit your goals, and to fulfill the promises that you make for yourself, that's what's going to drive your ability to get into that gym every single day. There's going to be tough days, there's going to be easy days, but more than likely, there's going to be a lot more tough days. And that's expected. You've got to expect it, and if you can expect it, you can prepare yourself for it. You can talk yourself through it. You can reassure yourself that you're not going to give up on chasing down the goals and the aspirations that you have for yourself.
Maybe that means you have to socialize the goal. You have to let everybody around you know what you're trying to do to perhaps hold you accountable subconsciously or even a little more outwardly with your friends and family consciously reminding you anytime you start to doubt yourself. So all of that is to say that the secret to getting in the gym every day, well, there just isn't one, at least not one consistent one. Maybe you'll pick and set a goal and some aspirations for yourself that will help drive you there every day. Maybe you'll set up some barriers to help hold you accountable. And maybe, just like Dr. Mike said, you don't hate your current situation bad enough for it to stick. And perhaps hate is a very strong word. Perhaps you just want it to change. You're displeased with the current status quo. I think that's a very healthy way to look at it. And I think that most people could attribute some goal of theirs to that discontent, a want for more, a want to get better every day. Ultimately, I think it's going to be a combination of all of those things. And over time, I think what you'll find is that the answer to your question is a combination of so many things that you couldn't possibly just pencil it down to one individual thing. Most things in life are like that, so why would this answer be any different? Let's talk about it though. What are your struggles? What are you trying to accomplish? How can I help you? How can your friends help you? How can your family help you? How could people involved in this community, right here, there's some of you that I know are here every day. How can we help each other? What can we do to help push and motivate one another? Because sometimes just having one person be that individual who says, don't you dare give up on yourself. Don't you dare doubt yourself, feel bad for yourself. Don't you dare try to brush off those promises that you made to yourself, that you made to others. Sometimes that's all it takes to really get us across the line there. So let's find that. Let's create that. Let's start with setting some realistic goals, tangible, bite-sized goals. Do not go and set these grand goals for yourself. You are not going to be able to make enormous, sweeping lifestyle changes in the blink of an eye. It will take time. It will take learning. It will take failing for you to actually grow into the grand vision that you have for yourself, but you can do it. You can do it with some time and some patience, forgiveness and grace. But also, you've got to have that want for something better for yourself. And if you can start with that, if you can start by just wanting something better for yourself and articulating it out into small bite-sized goals, you're going to be able to achieve it. You're going to be able to attain that thing you want. And ultimately, the question that you've asked yourself of how do I push myself into the gym every day will become but a faint memory of the past, because you won't remember a time that you weren't addicted to it, addicted to the feeling it produces, the comfort it brings you, and the happiness and joy that it instills in all aspects of your life. Thanks again for being here, everybody. I appreciate you. I'll see you next time. Be well.